No, I don't. I thought I did have. Never mind. Okay. Another cycle. You don't really need to store these separate gases like the argon. Whatever you need, you just need to set the extractor up and just extract what you need and just put everything out, empty everything else back out into the atmosphere, because it's not like you're wasting it. But argon is so hard. I mean, you see how many barrels I've gone through, and it's only just... What am I doing? I keep doing that. I have no idea. Yeah, it's only just creeping up, just almost filled the argon barrel. I think this is about the 4th or the 5th barrel I've actually changed. It's the 4th barrel, isn't it? Yeah. I believe. I'm not counting, to be honest. But it's not such a bad thing. You can just empty it out, whatever you don't need. Once you've got a barrel of it, which should be enough, you just need to empty it back out. Whatever extra you get, just empty it. It's not like you're wasting. It's not like I said, it's not like substrate where you can waste it. You're not going to get that back. If you empty a barrel of iron, you're not going to get the iron back into the actual soil itself. But the gas itself is not too bad. You can stick one of those anywhere you want to, and it'll carry on extract. All the time you've got power on an empty barrel, it'll carry on just pulling atmospheric gas in. So that's not too bad. Clean these. It's like, as I said, I've only been here like a few minutes and already they need cleaning. So that will cut down how much power they're actually producing. Yeah, which is a bit. What have we got? Cammed outside again. I keep cammed outside because it's. You don't require that much of it. It's best if you store a nice tank of it. But when you only need like a tiny amount of a resource, there's no point in sort of keeping a large tank of it. So luckily enough, you don't need a lot of plastic, you don't need a lot of argon. I don't think you need any argon, apart from lights. That's what you use the argon for. I don't know what you use the actual magnesium for though, or magnesium oxide. As you can see, we've got nitrogen there. It's barely half, it's not even halfway. So that's how much nitrogen you actually need. It's a ridiculous amount. But it's easy to get, like I said, but it's quite time consuming to get enough of it. Let's put in the output. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make another drill for the second site over to the west. Which is there, I think. No, not there. No, that's east. I'm facing east, aren't I? But I'll put it here. Bit of sunlight. Which is good and bad, because you can see what you're doing. The solar panels charge, but it's quite bad because you get exposed to even at this level You're still exposed to solar radiation. So I've got a full barrel of argon. So I'll switch to the other barrel. So that's one full barrel of argon I've got. So that's 2 full barrels I've got. I'm not going to be having any more. I'm not going to keep any more of it. So this one that's filling up right now, I'm going to just dump it. Head back. Just take this to the cargo pod and dump it in there for now, until I actually need it. I suppose I should really use the buggy, but the buggy uses fuel, and I'm going through fuel quite a lot. So much so I might actually run out of it before the build's actually complete, which means that's messing around how to go and make the extract methane from. Ah, so I've got some aluminium oxide. Where the devil are you lot going? Just take a look at what this is. Aluminium oxide. Okay. So, what the? Silicon oxide. Which you need to make glass. What the? Well, I've no idea what's going on here, to be honest. It's a full barrel of silicon itself, so I don't need any silicon. I'm going to stand up. Yeah, stood up. So what's this one? Silicon again. Full barrel. That is annoying. Yeah, like I say, it's a shame you can't put barrels and bits of sort of building material, well, sort of building blocks in here, in a container. But you can't. There's nothing on the ground. Which is ridiculous. So it just consumes more time. A lot more time to do anything. Which wouldn't really be the case in real life. But then again, like I said about the lunar mission during the manned campaign, you wouldn't have sort of cargo drop pods without beacons on them, or and very brightly lit as well. As far as paintwork was concerned, be luminous and had red stripes all over them and all sorts, so they're easy to see. They wouldn't make them that colour. Just a bit more and more difficult to actually. Now that's finished again. I won't bore you all with emptying that out again. Alright, so 64. So you can see how long it takes you to get enough nitrogen, a full barrel of nitrogen, which is what really you need. That's what you really want. Got plenty of oxygen. So I'm going to count with this. So I'm going to get a full barrel of nitrogen here. So I'm going to do all of that. All I'm going to be doing is just swapping this barrel over, swapping these barrels over, emptying them when I need to into the large container. The stuff like the argon, like I said, I'm just going to delete that off. Just going to empty that back out into the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide I'm going to fill up until I've got a full thing of it, full tank, which shouldn't take long. I mean, you get 11. You don't. You get 8. What are you talking about? You get 8 from each of these barrels. You get 8 for one. So that's 8 barrels for every one of Mars' atmosphere. Oh, it's not. It's every 20. I'll get it right in a second. So it's 20. Every 20 barrels. It's a lot. It's a heck of a lot. And it's a lot of barrel swapping for no real reason. Because really, if I can make electric wires, why can't I make a pipe? Why can't I make a pipe to attach to each of these into the refiner, and I can just switch to whichever one I want? That's what they would probably do in real life. Yeah. So I'm going to swap the barrel over. I'm going to carry on doing this until I've got a full barrel of nitrogen. What are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not busy thinking about what I'm going to do, what I'm going to build, how I'm going to do it. That's what I really want to get on with doing. But I'm having to do this, so I don't want to waste resources. Okay, so once this barrel of nitrogen is full, then I'll show you how to make nitrous oxide, which is pretty easy. Just combine oxygen and nitrogen, and it's a key element for making plastic. A key element for making plastic. Okay. Just dump the second barrel of argon in here, and there's a solar event on the way. I'm still not, just a good few points off having a full barrel of nitrogen still. But because of this, I'm gonna have to go back inside. So what I've been aiming to do with the plastic I'm about to make, I'm gonna fill up that entire barrel of plastic. It's got 24 points in it right now, but I'm gonna fill it up to 130. It'll take quite a while, quite a number of minutes. Minutes. I'll be lucky. Once I've got that full barrel, I'm gonna make a shelter here. I'm gonna put a little platform and a shelter. Not much of a shelter, just something I can stand underneath and shelter myself from, you know, from this radiation, because it seems to be coming quite often. I keep having to run back inside, which takes time again. It wastes time. It's just I can't be here producing stuff on the refiner, or on the 3D printer, or anything else, or collecting barrels. So I thought if I put a shelter somewhere near here, not too close, I would say somewhere between sort of here and the first drilling site, because the drilling site's going to be moving quite often, every few hours. So it's going to have to be small, so I can just take it apart. Nothing like this size, not like the size of this, nothing like. Just enough, just big enough, maybe with a door in it as well. Not to pressurise it especially, but just so I can stand underneath it, at which point, no matter what angle the sun's coming in at, I can sort of hide in there. I'll have to keep running back. I've got 2 minutes. Just put this back on, this barrel on, if it hurries up and fills for me. Come on, hurry up. Got it. Right, let's go. Go, 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 go. Got 1 minute 50 seconds. Oh, we're not going to make it back before it kicks in, that. Come on, come on, come on. Tap the button, tap, tap, tap. Right, let's go. Yeah, that's just it. It's a nuisance, and it's not particularly all that realistic to have solar events this often. Got 50 seconds to spare. It's getting very dark. Which begs the question, how on earth are we getting the solar radiation in the first place? Ah, dear me. So you can see how long it takes you to actually sort of do just a barrel of nitrogen, which is what you need to make nitrous oxide. You need oxygen as well, obviously. But luckily I've got enough stored, I've got plenty stored. But it's still very time consuming. Barely halfway with that barrel of nitrogen. I've got some nitrous oxide, oh I've got nitrogen already, but that's not the point. I wanted to show you how to make and class it from scratch. And that is the only way you can do it. Let's take a look at my medical condition. Yeah, I noticed as well when you log out and then you log back in, your physical fitness is back to bad on your character. It's average now. Got no radiation, 0, which is good. Just under halfway in sleep, everything else is fine. That's perfectly okay. So yeah, I've depleted the, I haven't depleted that much in the methane to be honest, but the oxygen maybe. But I've got loads of oxygen in that large tank near the printer. Fertile soil is precious because I need that, and there's no way of making it up here because I can't get topsoil, as I said. But a little bit of methane. I mean, yeah, that should be okay. But when I start moving stuff about with the cargo truck, then I'm going to start using up quite a lot of methane and oxygen, which is why I've got the large tank of it rather than just throwing it away. I'd rather have a reserve of it than sort of dare to sort of just throw it away sort of thing. I just wouldn't. It's not right throwing stuff away. Not like that. Take these vitamins. Don't need any, I'm just tidying up. So I'm going to pop back out. That sun event should be over by now. So I'll head back out. Oh boy, with the detail. I'll just bring you all back in once I've got a full. Just do that. Bit curious this as well. If you drop it, it doesn't stand up. A bit weird that, isn't it? Well, I think it's weird. Sounds like it's got a round bottom on it. Watch, there we go. So yeah, so what I'm going to do. Why can't I just... So I'll put my use there. So once I've got a full barrel of nitrogen, then I'll start to do nitrous oxide. So I'm just going to fill a nitrogen barrel up to start with. No, don't bother closing that door. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my till with me just in case I need to sort of place something when I'm out there. Okay, so I'll bring you all back in once the nitrogen barrel is full. Okay, so we have a full barrel of nitrogen. We have a little bit of argon as well, which I'm going to dump. I want the empty barrels, you see. And there's no wastage now, like I said, with atmospheric gas. But I need that nitrogen on input. So I need to do a little bit of switching around. Dump that there. I need... Okay, let's pop that onto here. I'm only going to be producing one. So I don't need empty barrels. But I need to just move that out of the way. I'm going to put the plastic on the output, the remaining output. I think there's one output left. There should be. No, there isn't. Yes, there is. Blind. Okay, so what do I need? I need oxygen. So I need one barrel of oxygen. Technically, I don't actually need one barrel. Just fill this up with oxygen. You get plenty of oxygen, but I think it's more effective just to extract the water with the program number 2 for substrate. I think you can split the oxygen, end up splitting the water. You get the water, at which point you split that to get your hydrogen. So there's actually no way of just getting raw hydrogen, which is a bit weird. There's only one way. That's through soil, but I don't have access to soil, like I said. So now we've got 1 barrel of oxygen, 1 barrel of nitrogen. So we need to put that. So we're going to be making 1 nitrous oxide. Usually, if you have the correct material selected here, and enough empty barrels here. So I've got 2 empty barrels, but so it's 1 nitrogen, 1, so it's equal amounts. You get 1 barrel. So what 2 of these, 1 barrel of each, will make 1 barrel of nitrous oxide. And it doesn't take very long either, which is good. Then we need water. We need hydrogen from the water. We need a lot of hydrogen to make it. We need 11 hydrogen. And we don't have enough water on the habitat. So I'm going to have to start sort of extracting water from substrate. Which is a massive load of mess around. Not as much mess around as making plastic though. But considering it's part of the integral part of, you know, it's sort of integral sort of ingredient for making plastic in the first place, I put that as part of the intricate sort of messing around you have to do in order to make plastic. If that makes sense. But look, like I said, you don't need a lot of plastic. Luckily. There's a lot of aluminium and a lot of iron. And if you're doing anything with glass in it, there's a lot of silicon oxide. But they're easy to get. It's 2 barrel swaps and that's it. 2 extraction programs and that's it. For the iron anyway. So that is 1 full barrel of nitrous oxide. What am I talking about? So that's nitrous oxide done. So I'll just put this into here. Obviously, if you only want to make a bit of plastic, you don't need to do anything like this. Just keep it in the barrels. I'll let it put into the large tanks. Just so I know where it is. So I'll sort of rummage through a load of barrels. That's the only reason why I actually did the large tanks. Because making 1 large tank costs less in resources than making a stack of barrels. And that's the only real reason I did that. Alright, so I've got the plastic there. So let's work out exactly what we need for making the plastic. Synthesized plastic, where are you? There we go. So nitric oxide, hydrogen and carbon. So I need carbon. Well, I don't know if I've got any here. Have I? No, don't think I have. No. That's aluminium oxide. So when you extract anything like aluminium oxide, iron oxide, and carbon dioxide, you get oxygen when you break those down into the components: iron, carbon, and aluminium. And silicon, if you need silicon, you get silicon oxide when you split silicon oxide down, so you get oxygen again. So you get a load of oxygen, just for everything. But you get next to nothing. There's only 1 source for hydrogen, and that's water. So that is again something that will give you headaches after playing this for X amount of hours. You get used to it, but I don't see why it was made so complicated. Where am I going? I have no idea. Let me just take this back. Let's go and dump this Mars rock. I need to go and check on the mine, on the mines, on the drills. Just put that there. Leave the barrel. Right. So we need to split some carbon dioxide to make carbon. No, I don't. Do I? Yes, I do. Alright, so what do we actually need? I just looked at it. So I need carbon, I need hydrogen. So I need 1 barrel of hydrogen. So I need hydrogen. No, I don't think I've got enough here. And I am not going to split any more water down. So, not water from the habitat anyway. What the devil? I've only got 72, was it? Oh, these rocks are ridiculous. Do you think you should be able to sort of move these rocks out of the way? Yeah, only got half a barrel of hydrogen, but it'd be enough to show. I'll at least use the rest of the hydrogen anyway. But yeah, in order to break it down, you need to have water. It's the only source of hydrogen you've got. And to use it out the habitat, that in itself is a pretty bad idea because you need to drink water. So I'd rather extract it from here. But like I said, you don't need a lot of plastic, which is a good thing. So for every 1 barrel of plastic, you're talking quite a few barrels of hydrogen. Quite a few barrels. A lot of barrels, in fact. Alright, so I need to break some of this carbon dioxide down. I don't know what's going on there. Like I said, the good thing is that you're not going to run out of resources. Drilling for resources, it takes a long time to run out of the resource, even with the drill. That's in substrate rock, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible, so I'd rather not dump anything that you get from the ground, as in from. I'd rather just not dump it. Gas is fine. Carbon dioxide, so you get one carbon and 2 oxygen. Like I said, you get a ton of oxygen to make just about everything. So we get 2 barrels of oxygen, 260 points. Every 130 points worth of carbon dioxide. So effectively you get the oxygen you need to make the plastic by splitting the carbon dioxide down. But to get 2 lots you get twice as much as you actually need. Just dump this. It's a pebble. You can walk over it, I'm sure. Just dump this in. This is a perfect example of over-convoluted mechanics. As like I said before, you should be able to fit a pipe to each of these and feed it down without having to mess around with all these barrels. I've never understood why you need to use all these barrels. I'll put it there. Good places, any. What am I talking about oxygen? I've done nitrous oxide. Anymore. So that should be a full barrel of carbon. Why have we got carbon dioxide there? I have no idea why I've got carbon dioxide just there. Yeah, in hindsight I don't think I should have put the tanks here because only flipping rocks in nowhere. It's not... makes it a little bit more difficult to navigate. I know that. So I've got a full barrel of carbon. So I've got a little bit of hydrogen. But if I had a full barrel it still wouldn't make any difference because I'd still need 11 times more than every one bit of plastic. So I need 11 barrels of hydrogen for every one plastic I need, which is just ridiculous. Methane? I forgot about that. So the final ingredient is the nitrous oxide, or as the refiner likes to call it, nitric oxide. So you have to split things down to recombine them, and then combine them, and then combine them with something else, in order to make what you actually need. Which begs the question, why can't I just run a program and extract exactly what I actually need in the first place? So that's the plastic. Next output. So that's 6 carbon, 11 hydrogen, and 1 nitrous oxide for every one piece of plastic. So you need a lot of hydrogen. And like I said, the only way to get water, to get hydrogen, is to split water. It's the only way you can do it at the poles, which is stupid because this, what I can gather, it might be dry ice, I suppose, but there must be some oxygen and hydrogen locked in it somewhere. But no. So this will take a huge amount of hydrogen just to make a tiny fraction. So for 10 points of plastic, you're looking at 110, almost a full barrel's worth of hydrogen. And okay, you get 2 hydrogen for every 1 oxygen from when you split water, but it still doesn't make it viable to split it from the water and the habitat. That is your life, you know, that is basically you're wasting your life. I mean, you waste water and you're dead, basically, you're dead. You're done. It's not a viable way of creating plastic. Luckily, like I said, you don't need a lot of plastic. But for every full barrel of plastic, it's going to take 11 barrels of hydrogen, which is half the amount. It's 5. Well, it's 5.5, isn't it? It's 5.5 full barrels of water. It's not a great deal. It's not a fantastic amount, as long as you use your plastic, you know, intelligently. You don't waste it. So that's it. So I've got 30. I had 24 to start with. So from all that hydrogen, I have got an extra 6. Yeah, an extra 6 plastic. So from all that work I just did, I've got 6 plastic. I mean, really? There must be an easy way of doing it. But there isn't. Yep. Pretty bad. So, like I said, the only way to actually get water, well, the only way to actually get hydrogen is to get water. You don't get from water, you don't get water from atmosphere like that. The only way to get it from atmosphere is by using 20 Mars. So it's going to take 20 barrels for every 1 barrel of water of atmosphere. Which isn't too bad, because you just throw the atmosphere away. Throw all this lot away, you don't need to keep it, you just throw it all away. We're going to get 1 oxygen from this and 2 hydrogen anyway, so that's probably what I'll probably end up doing that. Because it's fine, you can just throw that away. You're not going to waste it, it's not like you're going to run out of air, you're not going to run out of oxygen. Oxygen? You're not going to run out of atmospheric gas. And you're certainly not going to run out of oxygen because the amount of stuff you can split. But that is the only way of getting, so that's 20 atmospheres. So I'm going to carry on filling up this plastic barrel over the next few... Oh god, can't believe it. Why didn't I just pick an equatorial area? It'd been a lot easier. Oh, never mind. Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? That's the fun. Fun. Okay. So I need some water. That's empty. No, it's not. That is though. Hydrogen. Almost. Alright, so I'm going to do... kind of filling this plastic barrel up. I need more. We're going to need a lot more. A lot more water. Because I need the hydrogen from it. I'm not going to use any from the habitat. That's just asking for trouble. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get water. So I'll go back onto here. I'm going to take 20 barrels of Mars atmosphere. Okay, I'm going to get on with this. Okay, so I'm partly through creating a full barrel of water, not to split it to make hydrogen. And I've got another solar event on the way in. This is what I'm talking about, how often these things come along. It's really frustrating. You just start to get into the flow of things, so that's exactly what we use the plastic for. A good few parts of that plastic barrel are going to be used to make a radiation shield. Little hut with radiation shielding around it. So yeah, got 3 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm going to carry on with this and I will head back in. I'm not going to carry on doing that on the recordings, that's just going to bore everyone to death. So I've also got a full barrel of water, I'm going to split down to hydrogen. I've also got a full barrel of plastic from all these components. I'm going to spend ages doing, grabbing all, getting, extracting, splitting it down, combining. Once I've got all that, once I've got the plastic barrel full, I'm going to start putting a little hut together. So I'll bring you back in once I've started on that. That's probably about the best way I could do it.